keep watching that. We we made this awesome. How the fuck you get disqualified 7 times? What?
I know, but I'm saying, like, I don't know where it went
Yo, your
wrong.
whole field is illegal.
This is Fraser Smith. Fraser has just won a match of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the most bizarre way possible, because he barely played a single card. Rather, his opponent has just too old himself. And you might be wondering how this is possible.
But it's so basic. These
Peter,
moves are just like the basic moves, you know? It's so basic, and it's like, I'm just saying.
Well, the person sitting across from him is none other than Peter Chang. Peter has just made 5 illegal moves in the span of less than 10 minutes, and his current field on the board is entirely illegal. But the community wasn't surprised because this was not the first time that Peter Chang had done this. You see, the man was previously disqualified and banned from organized play on multiple separate occasions for unsporting conduct, cheating. And for over a decade, Peter Chang was one of the most well-known names on the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene. Not necessarily for his skill per se, rather for his antics over the years. But on this day in particular, his actions would culminate in perhaps the most legendary feature match ever, and luckily for the world, it was live streamed for thousands of viewers. Now, to understand the gravity of the situation that we just saw, we're gonna have to rewind just a little bit for context. This is a story of Peter Chang, the most notorious Yu-Gi-Oh player of all time. Our story starts
All right,
over
I gotta see
15
this.
years ago in the year 2009, where Peter Chang was an accomplished Yu-Gi-Oh player who would travel the world to attend championship level tournaments composing of thousands of players and rare cards worth lots of money on the line. His prior success included multiple Top Cup finishes at these tournaments, but before he became a semi-big name, Peter
I
was a dominant
remember this
player in the
dude.
New Jersey area, winning nearly all of the local and regional tournaments. But how could one man consistently win almost every single tournament? It was a question that many would ask, and over time, people slowly became suspicious about his style of play, and rumors began to spread, to the point where Peter would be known locally as a shady character with a history of connivery beyond the mere rules of the game. Local players would accuse Peter of stacking their decks and shuffling them in a manner that would cause them to draw the worst cards. At the same time, others suggested that he had marked his own sleeves to draw the powerful cards that he wanted. His opponents would basically agree that Peter seemed to open the perfect hands every time, with the player even saying that at one of the local stores, Peter was banned from using white sleeves because they were so easily markable. And players who knew Peter in real life would claim that he was caught cheating on 7 separate occasions. It became so widely known that even some of Peter's closest friends would not refute this claim. But in light of this, he was never punished officially by the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organized Play Committee, as his hijinks were limited to his local area at the time. Nevertheless, it got to the point where Peter was disqualified from numerous local and regional tournaments, and eventually banned from several local stores. Coincidentally, as Peter's success flourished, he grew bored of the Jersey scene. I mean, yeah, being banned from several local stores probably didn't help. So he began to travel around the country to attend tournaments on the major circuit. So we're talking about the largest tournaments in the world here. This would prove to be extremely rewarding, for his skills were more than enough to compete on a national level. Peter would quickly make a name for himself, going undefeated at multiple events in a row and threatening even the strongest players at the time, upsetting legendary names like Adam Korn and Jeff Jones. At the same time, he would supplement his travel expenses as a backpack vendor, someone who carried around binders chock full of cards to buy low and resell at a higher price. Though it was technically and still is against the rules to buy and sell with anyone besides the official vendors in the convention hall, back then it was an unspoken taboo where basically everyone would secretly try to buy and sell with each other. Now I know what you're thinking, you probably thought that Peter was a delightful businessman to trade and buy with.
Got something that might interest you.
Unsurprisingly, Peter was known to be extremely hard to deal with, often charging well over over the market prices, especially if he knew that the buyer was in a desperate position. And according to a tournament report, one man who was the unfortunate victim of Peter's business practices had said, "When we got to the event, I had to ship $30 for sanctums, ignitions, etc., and got savaged by Peter Chang for like $20. Sucks to suck." You can imagine my dismay when my teammate Dylan showed up later with a binder full of artifact cards. Except that the other vendors were sold out of the cards, so the man had no choice but to approach Peter. And since Peter knew that the man needed the card for the tournament and round 1 was about to start, he upcharged him. Others would say that Peter would lowball them when buying their cards online. But at the end of the day, though perhaps immoral, none of what he was doing was technically illegal, beyond, well, buying and selling at the venue. The bottom line is Peter needed more money to be able to constantly attend these majors because they were always held in a different city across the United States, and travel and accommodation can be pretty expensive. As his play continued, Peter quickly cemented himself as one of the best Lightsworn players in the world. A strategy reliant on self-milling, it would trigger powerful effects in the graveyard to flood the field with monsters. The deck's signature boss, the Judgment Dragon, could only summon itself when 4 different Lightsworn names were in the graveyard, with its Day of Judgment ability wiping out all other cards on the field. But Peter's opponents complained that he always had the perfect mills, consistently hitting 4 names as early as the second turn, and constantly milling multiple copies of Wolf Lightsworn Beast, one of the deck's powerful methods to swing the game in favor. For it was essentially a free 2100 beater who brought itself back to the field. Though the deck could be pretty inconsistent due to the RNG factor associated with milling, in the hands of Peter Chang, the deck always seemed to perform exactly as he wanted it to. And with his devotion to the light, Peter would finish top 4 at Shonen Jump Championship Orlando and top 16 at Shonen Jump Championship Columbus. With his name now commonplace among the elite, everyone would agree that Peter was no doubt a skilled player. But while his accomplishments grew, so did an aspect of uncertainty surrounding his gameplay, which had now transcended his local community and became known to the world. Online chatter was